It's Wednesday, June 17th, 2015. I'm Rim.
I am still Sky.
And this is still Geeknights. Tonight, we're still talking about Ore Monogatari, my love story. Or I guess just my story? We don't know enough Japanese to really understand. I guess it's implied, that part.
Let's do this.
So this past weekend, a lot of our, we only really go to one anime con. Well, yeah, really one anime con. We go to Anime Boston.
We went to Anime Next once, many, many years ago, and that was, it was worth going.
That was where we saw Rintaro,
We saw
right?
Rintaro there. It was a good time. We
went with like Katsu.
Yeah, we went with Katsu.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's like we saw Rintaro, we walked around the dealer's room, and then we were like, oh, there's really nothing else for us. It was
You know what that was?
You can go back and listen to the Geeknights where we talked about it.
You know what it was? That was the last time I went to an anime con.
Didn't we do a panel there, maybe?
No, where we weren't guests. Like, we just went to an anime con for fun. We don't do that. We haven't done this. This is the last time.
So Anime Next is still going, and it's a pretty good anime con. It's never been really awful.
Yep,
right?
I heard that the panel rooms are pretty small.
Yeah, I don't think it really concentrates on panels too much, right?
Yeah.
It's a typical anime con, but it gets it done.
So all our friends were there this past weekend, so I got to see that Twitter stream, but we were doing other stuff. But now there's some news I didn't know until just
Anime
now.
Next is making a change that might lure me back into their fold.
For 2016, you can pre-register now.
Good job. All right, you're already doing a good job.
And if you pre-register in the next week, this week, it's $40 for a weekend pass.
That's cheap.
But the news is that Anime Next 2016 is in Atlantic City.
It's moving. It was in North Jersey now.
It's going further away from where I live.
But closer to the beach. And it's a summer con, or at least late spring con.
Dude.
It's in June.
If
right?
Anime Next were in Atlantic City last weekend, I would have been there, and I would have spent about a third of my time at the con and the rest just at the beach.
Yeah, I mean, Atlantic City, for people who don't know, used to be a big fucking deal. Now
Before you could fly easily to Vegas.
Yeah. Now it's not as much of a deal, and it's sort of a lot of the hotels and casinos are closing, and it's bad times in Atlantic City. But that, I guess, means the convention center space is cheaper to rent because no one wants to be in there.
Now, we kept thinking,
which means anime cons can move on in.
There's a big convention center actually in Wildwood.
It's not as big as the Atlantic City one.
No. But big enough. We were thinking
big enough
for
a small con. Is definitely big enough for a small con.
But here's the big difference. You need a car to get to Wildwood. You can take trains from New York to get to Atlantic City.
That's true.
I think we'll submit some panels for Anime Next 2016.
Maybe we will.
I'm kind of feeling this. Because imagine if Anime Boston was the same as it was this year, except every second we were bored in between like all our fun stuff.
Go to the beach.
Yeah, we were just laying on the beach.
And cosplays on the beach.
Yeah.
Cosplay photos on the beach.
That guy who was dressed up as beach episode.
Outdoor, if they're smart, outdoor anime screening on the beach.
Ooh.
If they're smart, get on that.
Yep. So, yeah.
Oh, and when you need to stop to eat, Atlantic City Eats.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still good restaurants there. There's still casinos there. Casinos have restaurants.
In fact, those places
there's
are probably
plenty
all
of
desperate.
fucking hotels because, some of them are closed, but there's casinos, there's hotels.
Yeah. So
and most of the kids can't go to the casinos. That's not really a problem.
We might double the number of anime cons we perform at every year starting next year.
Maybe. Good,
Yeah.
But Otakon Vegas, I don't know. Was that just as successful? I think the difference is that Vegas, there's no beach.
Yeah, I would
There's
not.
just the desert.
Thing is, if I fly to this, I'll spend some time in the con, like doing our panels and like walk around the dealer's room once, walk around the artist alley once, maybe like see a couple of panels. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be on the beach. I'll probably even take a couple extra days off and just stay on the beach.
Maybe some bathing suits.
Yeah.
To an anime con.
But Vegas, I would pretty much just all you do in Vegas is eat food and go to shows.
Yep. Anyway.
Not that I mind that, but anyway.
Good job.
Also,
Anime Next.
I can take a train to Atlantic City.
Yep.
I can't take a train to Vegas that's worth taking.
All right. So in my news, this is sort of news, I guess. But today, well, not today. Actually, today. But today, we're recording this.
Because Rim is in London right now.
As you're listening to this, he's in London. But as we're recording, this is Monday, June 15th, even though this is the 17th episode.
You've broken the illusion.
I know. I don't like illusions. I don't like lying. So on Monday, June 15th, it was the 30th anniversary of Studio Ghibli, which is crazy because I'm older than that. I was 3 years old when they founded that studio. It's 30 years old now.
Yep.
That's pretty significant. 30.
Do you remember a time before Studio Ghibli existed?
No, I
Pepperidge
don't
Farm
because
remembers.
I was 3, but Pepperidge Farm is much older than me, so it remembers. Yeah, think about all the animes that Studio Ghibli has made, and now are they stopping or not? We don't even know. But that was you could almost say like, that was the life of Studio Ghibli. There
was an important time.
Since there's really, I don't know if there's much to link to for this. I think there was on the 25th anniversary, which I guess is a more round, significant number than 30 in some ways. They had like an anniversary concert. So you can just pretend that that's the 30th anniversary concert.
Nah.
I think it's on YouTube maybe or something, if I remember. Because I remember watching it once, maybe a few years ago. Probably 5 years ago.
So in other news, if you think that the war on people like being afraid of comic books was won a long time ago when the comics code kind of disappeared and like people are more modern and civil. The Comic Book Legal Defense Fund...
You clearly don't read the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund's
would
website.
like to remind you that terrible people are still out there.
Yes.
I'm not going to explain this entire...
They do this pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah. Basically...
If you have extra money that you don't need, consider giving it to the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, because when someone comes to put you in jail because you happen to have a hentai manga, which, oh, by the way, that has happened, the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund are the lawyers that will come and keep you out of jail. They have done this.
Yes. So basically, this story, however, is extra special because of the complainant in this case.
All right.
So a school, the teacher for study, had some required reading, and because the class was about this sort of thing, they had to
There's
read...
a comic book class?
I'm trying to look for the name
I've
of the class.
had Ghost in the Shell assigned as reading in class before.
So it was just...
or was it they assigned the movie for watching?
So it was an English class, and they had to read Persepolis, Fun Home, Why the Last Man, Sandman. So basically a bunch of like...
highbrow comics that are mostly on my shelf.
A student and her parents...
I think all but one of those is on my shelf, and the reason Sandman isn't because I read someone else's copy.
Yep. So a student and her parents complained to the school and are extremely unhappy that their child has to read pornography in her English class. I'd like to point out their child is 20. This is a college.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, none of those are pornography, not even close.
There's a better quote.
They do all contain R-rated material, especially Sandman.
If you can't deal with R-rated material, you should not even be in college.
And it's definitely appropriate. All of those are definitely 100% age-appropriate, highbrow, and educational.
Those are like junior, senior high school appropriate. I mean...
Sure, but they're of high literary merit and worthy of any college course.
She was, quote, apparently aware that the specific focus of the class was graphic novels, but she told the newspaper that, quote, I expected Batman and Robin, not pornography.
Okay, first of all, have you read any fucking Batman and Robin? Because, if you see some, like, DC cheesecake characters going on in there, you want to see some Catwoman action, you're going to be rather upset, and you don't know what pornography is, because that's way more pornography than any of those things.
Now,
granted, it's not. I'm not saying Batman is pornography. I'm saying it's closer to it than Sandman.
So reading between the lines here, I'm pretty sure this girl and her family I'll bet she was homeschooled or something, and they're sort of like ultra Christians.
Probably.
And I think there's some helicopter mom going on.
Probably.
All rolled in together.
Almost definitely.
Yep. So I don't know what else to say. This article speaks for itself, and it would be funny if it wasn't so sad.
Yeah, if you care about comic books at all, the CBLDF is something you should pay attention to.
Yeah, kick them like $5.
They're pretty much at like every Comic-Con you ever go to, and they're usually like selling signed shit that authors donated to that they could sell for lots of money to, and they're also just accepting donations, so you should do that.
Yeah.
Or one day when you get arrested for having a comic book.
For having pornography because you've got that Batman and Robin.
Right. You'll be wishing the CBLDF was there, and when they ain't, because you didn't give them $5, don't complain to me. I told you.
Just $5.
I told you. Also, you can get like cool stickers, and they have lots of cool stuff. They every year they put out Freedom Comics.
And their logo and everything is just great too. Like they're just a great organization.
Put a nice sticker on your laptop.
It's like, look, people listen to Monday Geek Nights. They're really big into the EFF. If you listen to Wednesday Geek Nights, this is your EFF.
Right.
sayings of the day. So, Anime Boston doesn't have its rave dance. It's gone forever, basically, and I just think that was nothing but a positive thing.
Not a problem for me.
So, if anime cons specifically continue to persist in this idea that they need to have an anime rave that they call a dance for legal reasons, why can't it at least be like this video?
So this is an actual rave, I think in Japan a while ago. I don't know how long ago. But this
2015, Electro X, I guess.
Oh, I guess it was recent, but there was a Vine of this and also a YouTube video of it spreading around. They're playing a pretty recent, trance hit song called Ping Pong, and there's a bunch of Pikachus dancing. It's amazing.
This is what anime con dances should look, sound, and feel like.
Like actual raves and not pretend kid raves with teenagers? Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the kids who go to anime con raves, though, would just pee their pants if they went to an adult rave.
Yeah, you don't have how many, like half the people there are on X, whatever.
It's just so crazy to me, though, because when we went to anime cons, like in the early 2000s, the dances was basically like, they'd be playing sort of dancey remixes of just like anime openers, and people would just be kind of poorly dancing to them, and everyone was having fun. And then it increasingly smelled worse and worse and worse as the years went on.
So this dude, there's really nothing special to this. It's not really the greatest thing of the day, but he made the bicycle from Akira, which is not Akira's bicycle, it's Kaneda's bicycle. Motorcycle, not bicycle. He made it out of Lego, which I'm sure has been done before, but he did it to a greater extent than anyone has done before. It is more accurate, more detailed, more functional, more music in his YouTube video. So if the motorcycle from Akira made out of Lego and actually rolling around with remote control interests you, here is a YouTube video of the best of that. You're probably going to see, or, if someone tops this guy, who even really cares at that point? There you go.
In the Meta Moment, the book club book is The Wheel of Time. We've somehow spent our whole lives having not read it.
A very popular and prominent nerdy book series. We have not read any books from it ever. Let's read the first one so that we can call ourselves the nerds.
Yep, and we're going to talk about it when we finish it.
Nerd cred plus, good or bad.
Yep. Also, we got some new videos up. You should be following both mine and Scott's YouTube channels because they give two different flavors of all the kind of tangential to Geeknights stuff we do.
On Saturday, I'm going to live stream the 2015 Netrunner Regional Championships from Philadelphia.
And in less than a month, July 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th in Connecticut, Hartford, is Kineticon.
If you can get to Hartford, Connecticut without the use of an airplane in a reasonable amount of time, you are a nerd, which you are if you're listening to this, you don't have anything more important to do, like, I don't know, a wedding or family obligation or who knows what, you should be at Kineticon. It's not sold out. You can buy a ticket and go. Badge, membership, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Kineticon is pretty badass, and it is, unlike a lot of things that say they are that, actually an everything con.
No matter what your nerdery is, Kineticon's got it covered. If you're an anime fan, you'll have shit to do all weekend. If you're into gaming, you'll have shit to do all weekend. If you're into whatever the fuck it is.
If you're into, I don't know, George Takei. If you're into Star Trek, sci-fi,
fanfics,
music,
whatever, dancing.
Literature, like authors and stuff.
And if you're into more than one of those things, you will have more than things that you want to do than you can do in the weekend.
Yeah.
So come to the Kineticon.
So, we're watching a pretty new anime, and it's from a current season. It's not like it's still on.
So I found out about this show when we put together our panel for Anime Boston.
And what did we say about it? We said in Judge Anime by its cover, we reviewed it based on one screenshot.
Yep.
And a paragraph of text.
And I had a positive expectation based upon those things.
So now we've watched enough of it to confirm that once again...
I've watched 3 episodes.
3? I've watched more than that.
Oh, I'm going to watch more than that when I get home, and that's all you need to know.
I'm going to watch all of it. In fact, episode 12 just went up.
Oh, a good thing I pay for Crunchyroll.
So,
yeah, it's on Crunchyroll, by the way.
I was sold on this just from the picture of the protagonist.
I'm sold on this from the picture, and also, believe it or not, right, I was sold on it from the picture. I was going to watch it at some point, but it got pushed up in the queue because of all places, I saw on places like Boing Boing, things like this getting posted outside the anime community. There was interest in this show.
Oh, some internet people that I follow that many of you don't follow, they've been tweeting a lot of really fucked up fan art and internet about this show.
So it's called Ore Monogatari, and we already sort of discussed the name in the opener of the show, but as far as I know, Ore is like mine or me or whatever, and Monogatari is story or side story, or that's always used for like in the titles of things pretty often, like Shin Megami something something Monogatari, and it's sort of like the side story. So this is basically my story, as far as I know, in my limited Japanese language knowledge. I don't know why the translated title suddenly has the word love in it.
The love must be implied.
Yeah.
We would ask Emily and bring her on the show, but she's not home yet.
She's not home yet, so we don't know. But that's kind of weird. But I guess it's fine, because if it was just my story, you wouldn't have any idea what the show is about. By saying love story, you know it's a romance. And you know what? It is.
This show is not our favorite kind of anime, because our favorite kind of anime is Ghost in the Shell.
Of course.
but
it's a good kind of anime that we like.
Because, I mean, you guys, like, we watched a lot of Nana. Like, a lot of it. We really like Here's Greenwood. We like really kind of shoujo-y fun stuff. But they have to have something going on.
Yeah, too many of them are just the typical what you expect kind of thing. Either they're way perverted, or they're way fantasy fulfillment, or, there's something wrong with a lot of romance shows out there and mangas.
Yep.
So it's pretty rare that you come across one that is both, A, there's nothing wrong with it in terms of being horrible or scary or freaky or whatever, and B, it is not just stereotypical, follow the usual expected plot line, so it's boring.
And this show is that, because basically, to sell it to you before we even talk about what it really is about, it has a typical, like, these people should date, but there are misunderstandings, and they don't date.
So it's not Love Hina, where they go the whole season without getting together.
Basically, that plot gets resolved immediately, and then the show just keeps going.
Yep.
So Gouda Takeo is just a monster.
Well, he's not actually a monster, but he is a huge dude. Like, he's way tall and way strong, and he will fuck you up.
Like, gigantic
he would
guy.
If he was a boxer, he would be a super heavyweight.
If he was,
and he's only a freshman in high school.
If he was in Silver Spoon, he's bigger than those cows. Like, he is a gigantic, powerful ogre of a man.
Right. Plus, because of anime or manga, they can draw him really, really big.
Yup. His best friend is this super hot Bishonen guy that all the girls love.
He's a cool dude.
And there's this tiny, adorable girl who has a crush on him inexplicably.
Yep.
So,
because he saved her, and now she noticed him, and he's a good dude.
So he's spent his whole life having girls ignore him and go after his friend. His friend wants nothing to do with these vapid girls always going after him.
Well, but there's an interesting reason why.
Yeah, stuff.
Very interesting reason why.
And this girl also obviously has some secrets, and like there's stuff in her life
you basically
too.
know nothing about this girl other than that she's into the main character.
And she's legit adorable.
Yep.
In the opener, there's
but it's not like she's not weird. And
she's a little weird, but not...
No, but she's not weird in a sort of like, lolicon kind of way.
Oh, yeah, she's not like a moe blob.
She's not a moe blob, and she's not cheesecake, like, in a pervert kind of way. It's like the character design is totally just like anime cute, but normal person, and she likes to bake.
They also draw her really, like, cute, just well. Like, in the opener, there's a scene where she's, like, sitting on this little, like, cushion, and she's making a really good, particularly notable face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she's generally like chill. It's not like, there's no scary, creepy stuff going on whatsoever.
But, I mean, the way the show kind of goes, because, in the first 3 episodes, I'll spoil a little bit, they're dating by the end of that. So the show kind of sets you up, like, the misunderstanding of, the big guy's like, oh.
He's so dumb.
There's no way she likes me. He obviously likes my
hot Bishonen friend.
So I'm going to cheerlead them. I've resigned myself to my fate as an ogre. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make their relationship happen.
Yeah, that's it, right? So there's this fairy tale of the ogre, and good anime like Utena always have a fairy tale as their backing, right?
Yeah.
So this has the fairy tale of the red ogre and the blue ogre, which is a metaphor for the story of the show, and that's a pretty good fable right there. I like that fable.
Yeah, it keeps coming up, especially in episode 4 with the fire.
Oh, well, I'll have to get to episode 4 tonight.
So, yeah, it gets to the point where, like, it gets just to that Miyaka Tamahome, like, insufferable point of, oh my god, you two are so dumb. And then the show just kind of looks you in the eye and says, no, that's not what the show's about. As far as I can tell, the show is about horrible disaster happens every episode.
But this big dude can save the day.
Yep.
Because he's huge.
He makes a Project ACO save in episode 4.
Yeah. I mean, it's like even though it's primarily about this romance and relationship and these characters, right? Because it's about this big dude, they can bring in this extra action aspect, right? And I think that's really why the show is appealing, is that it's got something for everybody. No matter what you are, no matter what you're into, no matter what you're looking for, it's in this show somewhere, even though it's primarily a romance show, right?
Well, because it's multidimensional. Like one thing,
Maybe
so the big
you're
guy,
the
right?
perverted guy who likes moe stuff, and I just said this doesn't have it, but it's like, well, the girl's still cute, right? You'll still be into her baking cakes and shit.
But like you like that camaraderie kind of show, after the initial setup, it kind of zooms out. Yeah, the big guy has a whole bunch of other friends, and they're all totally in the show. And the girl, yeah, she has her own set of friends. In the 4th episode, the plot's like, well, I guess we're dating now. All right, you should meet a bunch of my friends.
Yep.
And like all these characters.
It's got all
come.
kinds of school action, if you're into school action. If you're maybe the kind of girl who likes to watch Free, or the kind of guy who likes to watch Free, or whatever you are and you like to watch Free because there's hot guys in it. There's hot guys in this.
The
right?
shonen guys,
The
pretty hot.
shonen guy's way awesome. You could be into him.
I like him also.
You could be in if you're into yaois. There's a bromance between the main guy and the shonen,
There is
guy.
indeed.
So you could be into that too. You could get some shipping going on.
You know what there isn't? There is not cyberbrain hacking.
Sure, that's the one thing the show is lacking.
There's
it's got
no
no
tachikomas.
It has baking, like baking the way that that One Piece has pirates, or the way that Yoapedal has bicycles, right? So you could be into the baking aspect, like I am. Like, oh, these are the patisserie something.
Oh, when she makes that
cakes.
cake salé. Oh,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Exactly. This show has something going on.
But the
for
main
every kind of anime.
The reason this show is getting attention, one is Madhouse, so duh, of course.
Madhouse
like
is so good at making anime.
Yep.
Usually.
But 2, it's a show, and we say this a lot about good shows, where you look at it and you think, okay, I see where this is going. And as soon as you say that, it turns 90 degrees, and you can't predict where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, episode 2, I was like, how much longer is this guy going to be dumb? And then he stopped being dumb. If he would have kept being dumb to the end of episode 3, I would have been done with the show.
Yep.
But because they got together, it's like, well, this is a real show now.
The way they get together, I'm not even going to spoil it, is great.
So good.
Because the Suna, the
And they
Bishonen
can,
guy,
because he's so big, right? You can add in like these amazing animations and visual
his
scenes.
face, he's always got like the steam coming out of his nose. He's
Right.
Like,
It's like they're always utilizing the characters and the environment to do sort of like actual like powerful animation, even though it's just, like the Shoto.
You know what it
manga thing,
reminds me of a
whatever.
lot, actually, is Here is Greenwood.
A little bit.
Like,
The comedy plus the something for everyone plus the romance.
Yep.
Plus the school.
Yep. And the zoomed
The
out a
cast,
little bit.
the cast of characters.
Yep, cast of morons. You gotta have the cast of morons.
Yep.
I mean, Urusei Tsura has that to the extreme, and I,
I
also
definitely
really
think
like
it
that
is in the
show.
same genre as the Heroes Greenwood, and there aren't often things in that very specific category.
Yeah.
Can
In fact,
you even
also,
think of another one?
Honey and Clover a little
A
bit.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But
And
yeah,
I should finish. I never read all the manga of Heroes Greenwood. I own it all. I just haven't. I only read like the first 5.
I haven't either.
Just watch that show again. I think we reviewed it on Geeknights at least
It's
once.
a very important show.
Yeah, it is. We're the no-brand heroes.
Sure.
Anyone who out there who listens to Geeknights remembers Here is Greenwood? I'm curious.
A lot of people.
Well, I think people who've listened to us since we reviewed it have.
I'm sure plenty of people know of it.
I'm curious. Let me know. Post in the forum about Here is
Sure.
Greenwood.
Is there anything else to say about my story?
No, just if you want to watch
What
anime.
other anime are you watching this season? This season doesn't seem, at least right now in the summer season, there doesn't seem
Jigen Daisuke is not out yet, is it?
I don't know, but there doesn't seem to be anything blowing the doors off in Madoka style right now. So this is the show.
Well, because you
should-
missed the last round with Yuri Bears.
and we're still waiting for some Yoapedal movie, and
You're
and also
still waiting. I'm
the
not that invested.
Wolf Boy movie.
That I'm invested in.
Right, so there's really no animes to watch right now, so watch this.
Well, if you didn't watch Yuri Kuma Arashi, I mean, if Scott doesn't watch it soon, Emily and I are just going to do a show on it because it's good.
What's your hurry?
It's real good.
I'm
I
watching.
said
I'm
the same
watching the
thing.
big guy and his story.
Yep. But I watched the first 2 episodes of Yuri Bears because I was like, all right, I'll see what the deal is. And then the rest of that show was, oh shit, when's the next episode? Jesus, I need to say.
All right.
But yeah, I'm pretty much going to power through this as fast as possible. The 12th episode just came out. I don't know how long it's actually going to be. I think 24 episodes, which is a good number. That's like a full season.
Not bad. It's on Crunchyroll, so it's all good.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.